your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. NordVPN.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Not just a glove, it's a 44 Pro. Crafted with dedication, made for performance, and built to last. Get your custom glove today at 44pro.com and experience the 44 Pro difference. That's 44pro.com, 44 Pro.
Our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Looking for tickets to the hottest shows, games, and events? Ticket Liquidator is your one-stop shop for great prices, no hassles, and guaranteed tickets. Whether it's sports, theater, or concert, for the best seats at the biggest events, start with Ticket Liquidator today at ticketliquidator.com. Ticket Liquidator.
Introducing Bark in the Belly Premium Dog Food. 100% of profits go to help dogs in need.
Over 30% of adults struggle with chronic foot and joint pain, and many face mobility limitations as they age. But a revolutionary Comfort First slipper has taken the wellness world by storm. Try Cloud Slides and feel you are walking on the clouds. Cloud Slides.
It's the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stuart, 365 Sports. It is Friday. And my message to you before we get into anything on the show today, if you are one of those people who has not been into Olympic hockey because it's played in the afternoon and because they can't fight, you have got a problem that I can't fix. Okay? Because I am hooked right now. I can't even do my job, man. Canada just took the lead with 35 seconds left in the semifinals. And now they're reviewing it for offside. Like this is as high drama as you can get. And if you watched any of the hockey the last 3 days, you would be a total dipshit to say this is not as good as the Four Nations because they can't fight. Like, this is unbelievable edge of your seat hockey. And man, we are looking at like fractions of an inch on the blue line to see if Celebrini is offside here for the go-ahead goal with 35 seconds left. Honestly, as much as I don't like Canada, and it would be funny to see Canada lose, A, I do want to play Canada in the gold medal. I think those are the two best teams, the U.S. and Canada. And B, we should not be chopping off a goal of this much importance if it's a fraction of a hair of an inch offside. It had nothing to do with the play. Good goal. Good goal. Canada's going to be in the gold medal game. That was unbelievable, dude. This team, this Canada team, will not die. Will not die. And they shouldn't. They're really good. They're really good. They're one of the best teams I've ever seen. Same with the U.S. But they were down again in this one in the third period. They tied it with like 5 minutes left and just took the lead on a one-timer from Nathan McKinnon that literally is like an inch off the ice. It goes off Saros's far skate inside the post and into the net. This is what championship sports are, decided by a fraction of an inch. This is unbelievable. Canada's going to go to the power play because it was an unsuccessful challenge. I mean, you kind of have to do it, right? You kind of have to do it, but that's going to be the hockey game here. It'll be 5-on-5 when Finland pulls their goalie. And all respect to Finland, man. Good team. I think they've had a better showing at this tournament than people thought they would. But anything short of the U.S.-Canada is a letdown in the gold medal game. Is a letdown. And we'll see what the U.S. does right after our show. But I couldn't believe it. And I'm seeing it on social media. And I heard it on 98.5 yesterday. These guys talking, it was Zolak and Bertrand, about how, this hockey, only diehard hockey fans are into this. You couldn't pay me to watch it. Four Nations was better. And basically their conclusion was because it was in the afternoon. And like, I get it. You know, most people do not have the same privileges that I do in terms of like, I can do my work in front of my TV at home and watch these games. You know, most people are working, but I do find it hilarious that the guys who work 20 hours a week from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day are complaining that the big hockey games are on at 3 p.m. Like, you're not the ones that are missing it. You're not the ones that are missing it. Oh, man, it's the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stuart. I probably should introduce that. 365 Sports. We are live on YouTube. We're dropping on YouTube all 5 days a week, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. We're going to talk about some of the heroics yesterday in the Olympic hockey. We're going to talk about two big-time Celtics thoughts that I have, and one of them is really going against the grain of what a lot of Celtics fans think. And another one is me taking a minute to laugh at how stupid I was as it pertains to the Celtics. And then we'll talk a little bit about this men's game because we're about to find out who has 1 foot in or is in the gold medal game. And we'll play the winner of US Slovakia, which comes up just about an hour after this show ends. But let's start with the heroics of yesterday. I mean, talk about the moment for women's sports. And it's had moments the last 4 or 5 years, right? And it's, mainly basketball is what you hear about and Caitlin Clark and all that. But what a moment for women's hockey in the gold medal game yesterday. By the way, Canada silvers in the women's, their men's team has just advanced to the gold medal game. But I mean, it had the story already written out. This was going to be, I don't want to say one of the great upsets ever because that takes away from Canada. Canada is a heck of a team. But the U.S. had outscored their opponents, 33-1 going into this game, including a 5-0 demolition of Canada the week before. And I can't remember a time where all of my timeline and the sports world was locked in on a women's hockey game. A women's hockey game. It was incredible. And obviously, you know the story. They give up a shorthanded goal in the second period. They go down 1-0. And they're down 1-0 until the final 90 seconds of the game. Like, I'm thinking, oh my God, what a script this is for the other guys. You know, the U.S. is like unstoppable throughout this whole tournament. And then it's going to happen. They outscored everyone 1,000,000,000, and they're going to get shut out in the gold medal game. Like, that's crazy. And, you know, all I hear about every time Marie-Philippe Poulin touches the puck is how she's captain clutch, and all she does is score in the gold medal games. And I'm thinking, boy, can the U.S. get something out of Hillary Knight here? Minute and a half to go. What do? They get a goal from Hillary Knight in probably her final Olympic game. And then we go to 3-on-3 overtime. And let me just clear the air here, because so far, knock on wood, the United States, the men's and the women, are undefeated in the 3-on-3 overtime. But I hate the 3-on-3 overtime for the Olympics. I hate it. I think it's great for regular season NHL hockey. I think that is a much better way, more fun way to decide a game than the shootout is. But for knockout Olympic hockey, I at least need a 4-on-4. There's just so much shit that goes wrong in the 3-on-3. There's so much like Benny Hill music stuff that goes on in the 3-on-3. And I would say in the men's games that we've seen, the team who basically has the puck first is going to win the game. We saw that with Canada. We saw, obviously, U.S. dominated possession in theirs against that team. Sweden. That's a good nation. But they go to 3-on-3 in the women's game, and then Megan Keller take a bow. I don't often say that. That's a tribute to Meter. I don't often say that about the BC kids, but Megan Keller, take a freaking bow. Boston College Eagle, captain of the Boston Fleet. She gets an unbelievable saucer pass to her on the blue line. And it's something that happens in women's hockey that wouldn't happen in men's hockey. But she goes right through the defender there because the defender can't really check. And she just nutmegs her onto the backhand through the wickets. It's one of the sickest goals you'll ever see. Yes, Megan Kelly. It was a nasty, filthy, sickening goal that gives the U.S. the gold medal. I mean, if that is not drama to you, I'll use a Pete Souza line. You've got a problem I can't fix. And Pete was talking about this yesterday, and I very much related to this. He was talking to someone on the phone. He had scheduled a phone call with someone who was looking to learn more about the business. They were going to call Pete from 365 Sports. And Pete gets on the phone with him, and you could tell the kid's being like apprehensive. And the kid's like, I'm not going to lie. Gold medal game just went to overtime. Can we do the call in like 20 minutes? And I was like, that's it, man. Like, that's it right there. We have not had a women's sporting event that has truly captured the nation quite like that one did yesterday. And that's not a diss on Caitlin Clark or the moments that the WNBA has had, or the women's college Final Four has been huge, humongous the last couple of years. But I am talking about in the middle of a day, getting the entire sports watching public and then some. Because my fiance was watching with me. She's not part of the sports watching public. So you get the sports watching public and then some tuning in to a women's sporting event of that magnitude. And obviously, for us, a terrific ending. A terrific ending. And I'd be lying if I didn't tell you that I had the thought in my brain when they were down 1-0 late in the third. And I'm thinking, man, going to have this PWHL game in Boston at the Garden in a couple of weeks here. It's going to sell out. It's going to be the biggest crowd ever for a women's hockey game. It's like $400 to get in the door. And I was thinking, how much would that suck, for all those kind of neutral fans, and their last memory of the women's hockey wasn't Wasn't the first 5 or 6 games where they just kicked the shit out of everybody, but when they lost 1-0 in the gold medal game. And there'll be Canadian players, out there, and there'll be Canadian fans and at the Garden. I was like, that would really suck. But what would make this epic is if they have this great comeback and, it's a month and a half from now and they still get to honor these gold medalists, and Megan Keller is going to get an unbelievable ovation. And that's what we got, man. That was sports at its zenith yesterday. And it just so happened to be women with ponytails that don't have to wear jock straps. Okay, that's just what it happened to be. But it was awesome. And I got to say, man, I know a lot of people, a lot of losers on Twitter are really getting into it. I have been so pleasantly surprised in this tournament how much better the women's game looks. It doesn't have the checking. It's not as fast as the men's game, but it feels a heck of a lot faster than it was 10 years ago. And the crispness is much better than it was 10 years ago. When we were watching in Sochi in 2014. Like, the passing is better. That saucer pass to set up the game-winning goal in overtime was sick. It was from behind her own net and saucered it all the way to the opposite blue line. Like, that's incredible. Like, that's stuff that Connor McDavid does in the men's game. Here we got it in the women's gold medal. It was fantastic. The deke was sick. The goaltending was great on both sides. I mean, just high level hockey. It was awesome. Awesome for this country, for this region, and for the sport. I'm not going to do that thing that we're seeing on Twitter now where we take it the next level of the women could beat the men. They can't. Okay? And that's not what this is about. This is the best women's hockey team on the planet Earth. And for most of the tournament, it wasn't particularly close. When it mattered the most, it was pretty close. But they came out. I mean, what a victory. We're going to be talking about that one for a while. And, they showed all the pictures of Layla Edwards with Hillary Knight when she was at one of the camps. She was like 12 years old, Layla was, and now gets to play with her. There's going to be a lot more pictures like that 20 years from now. At the 2038 Olympics, we're going to see a lot of pictures like that. 2042 Olympics, because this team is going to inspire an entire generation of women's hockey players. And that rocks, man, because hockey rocks. That's awesome. And hockey's having a nice little run here. 4 Nations, a couple of great Stanley Cup finals. You've got women's hockey gold medal. You've got heated rivalry. You're probably going to have USA Canada in the men's tournament final. That would be absolutely phenomenal. But we'll get to the men later on. I do want to talk about the Celtics here because I know that's why a lot of you are here right now to talk about the Celtics and some Al Horford takes that I have, as well as me admitting that I was way wrong about something. But before I do that, I got to tell you about one of my absolute favorite places here in the greater Boston area, and that is the Blackboard Bar. Okay, it is out in Charlestown, and it is authentically Charlestown, and it is in like this convergence, man. 93 Route 1, Storrow Memorial, and it's right over the Bill Russell Bridge from the Garden. So when I'm going to a Celtics game, which I did last week, and I went to Blackboard, and I go to a Bruins game, that's my spot. That's where I'm going. It's a hop, skip, and a jump from the game with easy parking if I want to drive and not have to worry about the headache of getting on friggin' Causeway Street. It is awesome. 34 rotating draft beers. They've got craft cocktails, an awesome menu of just like classic bar food, man. The burgers, the sandwiches, the flatbreads to die for. And for the special somebody in your life, they've got brunch every Saturday and Sunday as well. And I have heard from the women in my life who really appreciate brunch, it is killer. So I'm going to have to get down there for that too. So before a Bruins, a Celtics game, and also next Thursday, okay, we're less than a week away from this. Thursday, February 26th, right before Bruins, Blue Jackets, the first Bees game after the Olympic break, the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stuart on 365 Sports will be live from the Blackmore Bar. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. So go there, say hi. We're seeing what we can give away, what we can raffle off. It's going to be a fun time, man. It's going to be a lot of Bruins talk because it'll be their first game back, and it's going to be right before the game. Special time, special bonus episode, 5 o'clock on Thursday, February 26th. I really hope to see you guys there. Gotta love the Blackmore, baby. Gotta love it. So we will see you there. And you can always go there before a Celtics game too, which we will talk about the Celtics here because the Celtics on Thursday night put belt to ass to the Golden State Warriors in San Francisco, saying Steph Curry. And honestly, I would love to talk about, Jaylen Brown's triple-double within 27 minutes, which is pretty crazy. His MVP level that he's at this year. I would love to talk about Peyton Pritchard's huge jump and how just damn impressed I am with him every time he plays. I mean, he could start for all but 3 or 4 teams in the league. Like, that's how good we're talking about. But instead, I'm talking about Al Horford. And I've talked about it on the show before, but I've got some mixed feelings with Al Horford at this point. And it definitely takes full effect with his comments last night. This is what Al Horford had to say before the game about playing the Celtics and a little hint as to why he left or wanted to leave in the summer.
What went into the decision to join the Warriors ultimately? And, do you see yourself ultimately retiring with the Celtics if it comes down to that?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of talked about that a little bit earlier, but for me, the decision has something, it's something that's deeper than just the basketball, stuff of it. And it's something that at some point I'll share, with people. But for me, it felt like it was the time for me to go elsewhere.
So very vague. No one really knows what to make of this quote from Al Horford, but he said leaving the Celtics was about more than basketball and that he'll talk about it sometime. And maybe I shouldn't get worked up over this, but here's the thing. Like, if the Celtics wronged you, how about you tell us? Okay? Because you don't owe the Celtics anything. You played there. You made millions of dollars. You were a big part of the 2024 championship team. But if it's something that you feel like you've been wronged, let's hear about it, Al. You had all summer. You had the All-Star break. But you waited until late February when you actually played them and someone asked you a question like this to say, yeah, it's something bigger than that. It wasn't just the basketball thing. I'll come out when I'm ready for it. It's like, dude, what is it, man? How did the Celtics really wrong you here? I'd love to hear. Maybe there is something. But from my vantage point as a Celtics fan, you got paid the first time a max contract to come here. Okay. The second time they revived your career. Okay. You were wasting away as a DNP-CD on the Oklahoma City Thunder bench back when that was an embarrassing thing. And then came back here and went to a couple finals and won your only championship. So I would love to hear how the Celtics have so wronged you, Al. I would love to hear it. Because if it was a real thing, your big mouth sister probably already would have yapped about it on Twitter and bitched and moaned about it. But I hate when people are going to complain about something and then only do it vaguely. Yeah, some other things. I'll talk about it later. Okay. Because how this brings it back for me is I'm upset with Al Horford's kind of tenure with the Celtics, looking back on it. And I'm going to pull that down, Zach, just because it had an extra T in Horford. But I look at Al Horford's tenure with the Celtics, and it was that first time, that was the summer of 2016. He comes in here on a max contract and is probably the most notable free agent the Celtics had ever signed. And he comes in and he's a good player. He actually takes kind of a lot of shit from the media and the sports talk people because he's not putting up 25 and 12 every night. But he is a good, dependable player, a leader in the locker room, and all that great stuff. And then Kyrie gets here. And in Kyrie's second season at 18-19, it doesn't go according to plan. They're not the super team that everyone thinks they're going to be. They go out in the second round in a gentleman's sweep to the Milwaukee Bucks, and Kyrie is awful. And it's all about Kyrie, right? The drama around him. He says in the summer before, hey, I'd like to re-sign here if y'all will have me. And then at the end of the season, he forces his way out and goes to Brooklyn. And he's public enemy number one, which is one of the greatest things that's ever happened to Al Horford. Because while everyone was hung up on the Kyrie drama and that saga and that soap opera, Al Horford slips out the back door. He doesn't take the option on the final year of his contract. He thinks the ship is sinking and gets out of here and goes to one of the Celtics' biggest rivals, the Philadelphia 76ers. And then after the Celtics sweep his team out of the playoffs the next year, sans Al Horford on the Celtics, he ends up bouncing around a little bit. And then the Celtics revive his career again. They trade some meaningful capital to go get him as he's rotting away on the bench to come back to Boston. And once again, Al Horford is a big part of the show. He helps them get to the NBA Finals. 2 years later, he's the OG, the old man, when they actually win the title. The first championship he's ever won. He has the Celtics to thank for that. And then the next year, they run it back with their super team, and Jason Tatum blows out his Achilles in the playoffs. So now all of a sudden, it's like, ooh, next year's a gap year. No Tatum. We're going to have to get under the luxury tax. We're going to trade away Drew Holiday. We're going to trade Kristaps Porzingis. And then Al Horford wants out again. Huh. Are you noticing a trend here? After 18-19 and after 24-25, after the only 2 seasons that Al Horford played for the Boston Celtics, that they did not at least make the conference finals, he wanted out. The only 2 times in Al Horford's tenure as a Celtic where the going got even a little bit tough, he forced his way out. He didn't want to be here. And the joke's on him because both times he left, the Celtics got better the next year. And so now I look at it all differently. Right? Even the big moments that he came up with, I remember after they won the title, he's with Tatum. He's kind of Tatum's mentor. And he's like, you got us here. Thanks for leading us. You led us. And it's like, that's interesting because Al, you clearly didn't think that he could lead you. Because 5 years ago, when it was his team, you opted out of your contract and forced your way out of here to go to a conference rival. And then again, when things aren't looking like a super team for the Celtics for 25-26, he says, I'm out of here again. And then a couple months later is putting his balls on the table and telling you, it's more than just basketball. I needed to get out of there. I guess he's actually not putting his balls on the table because he won't frickin' tell you why. And I had to look through, some of these think pieces last year of like, should Al Horford get his number retired in Boston? No, he shouldn't. In fact, I think he's closer to getting booed at the Garden than he is having 42 up in the rafters. I know this is an unpopular opinion among Celtics fans. I know, and I'll probably get skewered for it. Thanks, Al Horford, for being a part of that championship team, but that's not a guy who resonates with Boston. Here, we like guys who want to be here, who want to play here, who embrace the city. Al Horford wanted a ring. He didn't want to embrace the city. Meanwhile, Kristaps Porzingis yesterday is talking about how, his first game as a Warrior, by the way, and it's against his old team. And he's saying, he gets asked about it in the media and he says, I'm obviously focused on being a Warrior right now and helping this team win. But like you guys all know, I had a great time in Boston. I won a championship there. The fans embraced me. I loved it there. And Al Horford's throwing out these vague reasons on why he had to leave. He had to leave, had to get out of there, time to move on. That pisses me off, dude. So for all the shit we gave Kyrie when he left, Al Horford essentially did the same thing to you twice. He wasn't as dramatic about it in the moment, but he did the same thing twice. When the going got tough, he forced his way out. And that doesn't really sit right with me. It doesn't. So Al Horford is a part of a championship team. He is not a Celtics legend. Okay? He's not someone that should be revered in this city. You know, seemed like a nice guy, but the proof is kind of in the pudding here. He didn't want to be here twice. And again, joke's on him. Warriors stink. Curry or no Curry. They stink. And the Celtics are the second best team in the East. They could well go to the NBA Finals again. Don't need Al Horford. So I know this is going to get me in some hot water with the Green Teamers, of which I kind of am one. But as much as I appreciated him during his time in Boston, I get that angry thinking about this now. You know, that's a guy who twice, when things were not drastically bad, by the way, just weren't the top of the league good, twice he forced his way out of there. To me, that's no different than Kyrie. And we got to see if Al will stomp on the logo the next time he goes up there. But it's just unfortunate, man. It's just unfortunate. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Be sure to like that video. Subscribe to the channel. We come at you every weekday on YouTube. We're live 3 days a week, 1 p.m. Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It is your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. It's right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stuart on 365 Sports. Here's what we're going to do, and I'm mostly talking to Zach behind the glass. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a little break here in a second. I'm going to come back. I've got to laugh at myself a little bit, okay, for this horrible take that I had on the Celtics preseason that once again was thrown into my face last night. And then we got to get you up to speed for USA-Slovakia. Winner gets Canada in the gold medal game. Man, it is all shaping up. All the U.S. needs to do today is score more goals than Slovakia. That is coming up next on the Wicked Boston Show.
Blackmore Bar and Kitchen, located in Charlestown, is the perfect spot for a bite and drink before a Bruins or Celtics game at TD Garden. Blackmore Bar and Kitchen offers 34 rotating beers, craft cocktails, and an eclectic menu of tavern favorites like burgers, sandwiches, and flatbreads. Join us for brunch every Saturday and Sunday, plus pre- and post-game garden events. Blackmore Bar and Kitchen. Check us out at blackmorebar.com.
Hi, I'm Mitch, the co-founder of Cake, a sexual health and wellness company designed for today and designed for you. Yes, you. The entire product line can be found at hellocake.com, and it's also available in every Walmart near you.
Designed to elevate the off-road experience, enabling adventurers to conquer any terrain. For 50 years, you've trusted us on your toughest recoveries, to your most breathtaking destinations, and in countless unforgettable memories.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
So all you have to do is tap your Popple to the back of someone's phone, like that, and they instantly get your social media and contact info right on their screen. They don't need an app or a Popple to receive your info. So get your Popple today and start impressing everyone you meet. Make it pop.
Samsonite is the world leader in durable, high-quality luggage and travel accessories. Travel with Samsonite and pack confidence every step of the way. Shop now at shop.samsonite.com. Samsonite. We offer fast shipping, exceptional customer support, and furniture solutions that stand up to high-traffic environment. Elevate your space with BizChair's vast selection of stylish, reliable, and cost-effective furniture. Visit us today at bizchair.com to transform your business. Cleanse your body of accumulated toxins and embark on your wellness journey at your own pace. At Global Healing, we provide premium supplements to help your body heal naturally. Start your healing journey today at globalhealing.com and organichemp.com.
Back here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stuart. I'm Cam Stuart. Zach Burke is behind the glass. He is keeping us on the air as he does every weekday. And 3 days a week, we're live on YouTube, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then wherever you get your podcasts as well. It is your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. It's right here on the Wicked Boston Show. I talked a lot about Al Horford in that first segment, and I get it, man. I get why a lot of people still revere him around here, but I just lose respect for him every time I think about him. Not that he's this criminal or anything, but I just see a guy who forced his way out of Boston twice, and that bugs the shit out of me, if we're being totally honest. And to then just throw these vague things out here of like, yeah, it's just something that bugged me. Not a basketball thing. I'll be out of here. Had to be out of here. It to me, just it does just kind of piss me off. But I do want to talk about another Celtics topic, and it's one that we can all take a laugh at. We can all laugh at Cam Stuart for. How about that? Okay, because I pulled up this video. It was a short that I did back in June. In fact, right around the NBA draft when the Celtics drafted Hugo Gonzalez, and I'm willing to admit. I am willing to admit when I am wrong. And so far, not even through season number 1, I am way wrong about this take on Hugo Gonzalez. It's a momentous night for the Celtics last night in the first round of the NBA draft. They brought the house down with pick number 28. We were all expecting the commissioner to go up to the podium and announce the Boston Celtics draft pick as Hugo Gonzalez. Of course. Yeah, I was really hoping they would get Hugo Gonzalez, okay? When there's a guy who averaged well over 3 points a game last year in the Spanish league that's available to you at 28, you have to go out and get him. Yeah. A little snarky there. Probably a bad take by me, I would say. I am willing to put my hand up and say I was wrong about Hugo Gonzalez. And I had people in the comments after that video actually had a lot of comments that was like, basketball is about more than scoring and this and that. And like, I got that. I understood that. But we were talking about, an 18-year-old kid playing in Spain who doesn't put up any kind of transformative offensive numbers at all. And he comes here and like, what is he going to be? And first off, I'm thinking it's going to be like 3 years before he comes and plays here. And that maybe he could be Romeo Langford. I was wrong. He came over right away, and the kid's kind of a stud. He's kind of a stud. You're going to look at his numbers, and they're not going to jump off the page at you. In fact, they're going to be pretty similar to his numbers in Spain. Just under 4 points a game, just over 3 rebounds, shoots at 46%. His per 40 is 10 points a game, 9 rebounds. Or excuse me. Yeah, 9 rebounds. But he's going to turn the ball over. He's going to get some assists, but he's going to turn the ball over. But you watch Hugo Gonzalez play night in, night out, and you see a bright future with this kid. He's getting some Kawhi Leonard comparisons. I think that's probably a bit too far. Kawhi's a Hall of Famer. Kawhi was a little bit more polished offensively when he came in here, but defensively and the style and the body, it is very much like Kawhi Leonard. There are definitely some parts of Hugo Gonzalez's game you can point to and say, that looks like Kawhi Leonard. I mean, first off, the claw, he's got the biggest hands in the league. Okay. And he's 6'6". He's got these really long arms, these huge hands. He is an absolute defensive menace that can guard 4 different positions at least. I mean, there was a time earlier this year, early in his career, where he had like 4 straight possessions guarding Karl Anthony Towns at center. Scoreless, no rebounds. Like, he is an unbelievably good defensive player for a 19-year-old who has not completed one NBA season yet. He had half a game where he held Cade Cunningham to like 2 for 8, 2 for 10 shooting or something. I mean, he is just incredible. And it's one of those things where you have to watch the game to appreciate it. But, you know, the Celtics go to the bench, and this 19-year-old Hugo Gonzalez is covering the other team's best player for 5 minutes, and you're not losing any ground. In fact, statistically, you're gaining ground. When Hugo Gonzalez is on the floor, the Celtics are 18 points better than when he's off the floor. Think about that. It is a 19-year-old rookie. It's not a phenom. It's not Cooper Flagg. And yet the Celtics are 18 points better when one of their third or fourth guys off the bench is in the game. We are just scratching the surface with Hugo Gonzalez, man. We are just scratching the surface. And I know plus minus is an imperfect stat, but how about this? The NBA leaders in plus minus this season among rookies. This is from Celtics blog, by the way. Second place is Dylan Harper at plus 96. That's pretty good. First place in plus minus amongst rookies, Hugo Gonzalez, plus 219. Yes, plus 219. He is 123 points better in plus minus than the next closest rookie. That is unfathomably good. That is insane. And he's had some clutch plays, that play in Brooklyn where Joe Mazzulla subbed him in with 1 second left, right as they were doing the inbound. He hit the open three to send it to overtime. The kid can shoot it a little bit. That's going to get better. But right now, he fills a role for a team that could go to the NBA Finals. He fills a role for them right now. That is so beyond what I had expected from him. And that's so beyond what I think most people, actual experts, expected from Hugo Gonzalez. Like, this was a classic take a flyer on a guy at the end of the first round, draft and stash. You know, if he was 3 picks later, they would have had a Taco Bell commercial on there as he was getting selected. Instead, he is, and I mean this in the best way possible, an absolute prick playing for a team that could go to the NBA Finals. And at least is, you know, one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the East, depending on the day. And, you know, I'm watching him last night. I think he only had 2 points. Yeah, 2 points last night. 2 points. And I'm still sitting there thinking, man, this kid is impressive. His transition defense, the way he gets in the lane, passing lanes, he's blocking shots, he steals. He is just such a tough guy to get through. He's such a disruptor as a 6'6" guard. And I see the future because he's an okay shooter right now. He doesn't take a lot. He's not a super strong shooter. He is a prick defensively who is trying to kind of wind his motor down at times because that's how good it is. I think you're looking at your future Derek White replacement. And that's one of the things that I see with this Celtics team that so impresses me about the future is you're seeing the next iteration of role players, right? Hugo Gonzalez will be Derek White. Jordan Walsh, the way he's playing this year, he could be Celtics version of Al Horford. You know, maybe not Hawks version of Al Horford, but it could be Celtics version of Al Horford. With his length, his improved three-point shooting, the way he can guard a couple different positions, there you go. right? Peyton Pritchard, I can't even put a comp on him because he's better than any bench player they've had consistently for a long time, man. And he should win Sixth Man of the Year again. Should have a dynasty in that. I mean, that dude can score from anywhere on the floor against pretty much anybody defending him. I mean, he took Kristaps Porzingis to the woodshed yesterday. The woodshed. And so that's where I'm like, my God, this is where Brad Stevens really cooks and where Joe Mazzulla really cooks. What was forgotten about that 24 championship team was how good their role players were because they had such an elite, dominant starting five. But they're getting those role players again. They're drafting them. They're developing them. They're signing them to good contracts. There is no team in the NBA, not one, that drafts at the end of the first round better than the Boston Celtics do. Because all three of those guys I just mentioned are all 20 or below. I think Pritchard might have been 19th. I think he was 20th though. And they drafted all of them. Jordan Walsh, Peyton Pritchard, Hugo Gonzalez, Sam Hauser. Like, it's incredible. I would trust Brad Stevens with my life. And Hugo Gonzalez is a huge reason why. And that's probably the last time in the Brad Stevens era that I am going to critique and outright get snarky about a draft pick they make the night of the draft. Because Hugo Gonzalez has already proven me wrong, and he is just getting started. I am seeing the vision of this new Celtics team. Are you? Let me know in the comment section below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We come at you 5 days a week on YouTube, 3 times live, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern time, then wherever you get your podcasts as well. It is your lunchtime alternative to Boston Sports Talk Radio. It's right here on the Wicked Boston Show with Cam Stuart on 365 Sports. We got a couple minutes here. We've got USA Hockey, which is do or die. Not just in the song, but in the playoff rounds right now. I would love to, okay, folks, he's going to sound like shit, but I would love to bring on Zach Burke here for a minute because we don't bring him on enough these days with the new schedule and everything. And he's sick. He's battling through it. This is his flu game today. But, Zach, I got to talk to you about this.
Okay. I don't know if you can hear me okay right now with the setup, but.
Sound fantastic.
Okay.
Sound just great. I can't wait to hear the coughs coming.
I'll mute myself before that.
We talked about, we were so into the Four Nations last year on this show, like so into it, right? And this is where I kind of want to appeal to you because I would call you probably a casual hockey fan. Is that fair?
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Like you like hockey. You're not a neophyte here. It's not like you know nothing, right? But you like hockey. You follow it. You wouldn't call yourself a diehard, right? No. But when I heard this on the radio yesterday, 98.5, they were talking about how this Olympic hockey, it's nowhere near the Four Nations. It's not any good because it's in the afternoon and only the diehard hockey people like it. I got to ask, Zach, you've caught a little bit of it. You're obviously working a lot, but you've caught a little bit of it. We've got the drama of the last 2 days has been unbelievable. Your thoughts on the Olympic hockey as it pertains to Four Nations, I guess.
I think you brought up some great points earlier that like it's a different brand of hockey that I've kind of noticed, but I don't want to say more athletic to make it sound like it's not.
It's less physical.
Yeah. It's a little more skill based in a way, but I don't want it to sound like I'm taking anything away from the Four Nations because obviously those teams were incredibly skilled. But it does seem like it's kind of like when you always talked about like, you know, a gentleman's game in a way is kind of what it seems, but I have fully enjoyed it. Yeah, exactly. They just want to be fancy with it. But it hasn't taken away from my enjoyment at all. Like I'm not bothered that they can't throw the gloves off and fight. Like I get, it's enjoyable when it happens, but there's more to the game than just that. And I think that watching, and maybe this is just me too, but I love watching then our team go in and still be so good at a completely different style of hockey. And I think that's where, at least for me, it adds more fun to seeing them, you know, like change their gameplay a little bit from the team that I saw play in the Four Nations and still be just as good. And that's what's been really intriguing to me. I don't give a damn that it's in the afternoon. Like I can go find clips. I can find somewhere to watch it. That seems like the biggest excuse ever to me of like why you wouldn't like something. But yeah, no, I have fully enjoyed the Olympic hockey so far. And I have to, kind of also give you credit when you're talking about the women's game too. The women's game has been just as fun to watch as well.
Freaking awesome yesterday, especially, man. And there's too much. I should have mentioned this in that segment. Like, there is still not enough parity in the women's game. It's kind of like what we saw with women's college basketball forever. That gap is closing in women's college basketball. So there's a lot of 5-0s. There were some 10-0s, but when you get it at the peak, USA Canada it was awesome. And by the way, dude, like, I think this is probably already in the works, and I know they're trying to do a World Cup, but like, I would like to see more four nations. Every year probably takes away from it a little bit, but every third year or something, I don't know. You work something out where it's in there semi-regularly, because I do like having the games at night. I think that's cool for watch parties and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And you do get the better in-arena atmosphere, right? Yeah. NHL Stadium sold out, and it's actually where these teams play. Like, here you got, some corporate crowd. You've got a couple thousand Canadians, couple thousand Americans, and there's like 10,000, I think, total in the place. It's not that big. But I think it's just been phenomenal.
I will add,
this afternoon. Yeah.
I just wanted to add, because we talked about the Four Nations, or we're talking about the Four Nations compared to the Olympic hockey here. I do feel that it made me appreciate the Four Nations more. And we ourselves haven't really talked about this after watching the NBA All-Star break this last weekend.
Yep.
Because it's abysmal. Granted, the whole Team USA versus the world was a little bit better, but
I at least like that idea.
Yeah.
I don't play it out all that well, but I do.
But it just showed me
playing, I think it's better. Yeah.
Yeah. It just showed me, though, how I feel like the NHL has the right idea here of like finding a way to make it feel worth more. Like, I don't know.
Dude, if I were the NHL, I wouldn't do an All-Star weekend ever again. You haven't done it the last 2 years. Nobody.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
No, nobody has missed it. And there's going to be some years where you're probably not doing anything, which the NHL really doesn't want to do. But I think from a fan standpoint, it wouldn't make too much of a difference to me, the diehard, or to the casual fan. I don't think that makes much of a difference, personally.
If it was just a, like you said, they want it every year. But if it's like an every other year tournament like this, you think that fits for?
Yeah. You can't do it. You can't do something every year, which is what I'm trying to like. You just can't. And I know they're trying to do the World Cup of Hockey, and that'll probably be like the midway point. The 2 years in before and after the Olympics. And I guess that'll just take the place of Four Nations. But if you do it every year, then it loses its luster. It just does. But if you have something like that, which has worked, again, this is a great point I'm about to make. Not toot my own horn here.
All right, let me hear this great point.
Here is where you take the soccer model that can actually work. The NBA is trying to take the soccer model, and MLB will try to do the soccer model of in-season tournaments and other championships that you can claim. Nobody's ever going to give a shit about that. Nobody. No. Like, it works in soccer because they've done it for 150 years.
Yep.
Okay, that's why it works. And they have different leagues they can play. Like, the Champions League is different countries and such. But here's where you can take from soccer internationally. Every 4 years they have the World Cup. 2 years in between, or the midway point, every 4 years, but on the alternating thing, is the European Championships. Those are the two biggest international tournaments in soccer. With all due respect to AFCON and the Asia Cup or whatever, Copa America even. Those are the two biggest in soccer. And it works because they don't do it every year. Every time you watch the World Cup, you're thinking, man, I could use that every year. Until they do something like that, and you can't use it every year. That is where the model can actually work for the NHL.
I like that.
Every 4 years we do the Olympics, and we're sending our players there because, by the way, they're never pulling out of that again. It's been too good. And then every 2 years, or God damn it, I keep saying that. Every 4 years, but in the 2 years after the Olympics, before the next one, you have the World Cup of Hockey, and not to ruffle feathers, but you do it in North America. And you do it there, so you have the best TV for it. This is where the players are playing anyway. I'm sure if the NHL players had their pick, even the Finnish and the Swedes would say, I'd kind of rather just stay around here because it's in the middle of my season. If you're going to do that, or maybe it's in September.
Like already too, like
so easy. Yeah, and that's a great point, because they're going to say, you know what, we're not playing this game of, fixing up arenas or building new arenas. We're going to keep our guys here. And that could be totally run by the NHL. That doesn't need to be an IIHF. The NHL can run that like they used to. So I think it will be here. And I don't know if they'll split cities or they'll do, all in one spot, Montreal 1 year, Boston, Toronto, Chicago. I think that would be great and fantastic. And boy, do I love Quinn Hughes, man.
Dude, he has been a beast.
I freaking love Quinn Hughes. I think he's the best player on the team.
Mm-hmm.
And I do love Jack Eichel, which I
was
wanted to
about
get
to ask
last
what
year,
you were
but I have a little bit of regret I didn't get a Quinn Hughes one. But World Cup of Hockey, 2 years from now, maybe I'll just have to get a Quinn Hughes one. One last comment here.
Yeah.
By NJ Flip, man, who's on all the time, man. NJ Flip is always here, always commenting, talking about the Celtics. The reincarnation of Red Auerbach was Brad Stevens. Kinda. Can I say that? Kind of. He's not going to be Red Auerbach.
As somebody who's not obviously a fan of the organization, but just watches from a distance, I have hard saying that anybody's like Red,
right.
but Brad Stevens does make a lot of good moves.
He's not going to have the resume. Obviously, didn't win a title as the Celtics coach. But I will say, it might be the closest you get in the NBA today based on the coach going to the front office and being dominant in the front office.
That's a good point.
Fleecing teams left and right. Again, is he gonna be a part of 16 NBA championships like Red? I'm gonna go out on a limb and say no. I'm gonna go ahead and say no. He's on one right now.
He's got 15 more, yeah.
Yeah, and so if you're looking at contemporary Red Auerbach, you're probably looking at Steve Kerr first. A guy who wins a lot as a coach, although I have criticism of the way he handled Team USA. But I'll say this, NJ Flip, a little bit. Okay, preliminarily, he is the reincarnation of Red Auerbach. Man, I'm going to try and get down to the bar here. I've gotten a lot of my work done today, so I'm going to try and hit the bar before the snow comes in. We're going to get hit again this weekend, Zach. We're going to have a nice little blizzard here. But it's not cold. Here's the crazy part. Right now, it's not cold enough. So I think it's going to rain this afternoon, turn to ice, and then we're going to get a blizzard. So really, here's my advice. Here's my advice to the people in the greater Boston area that watch and listen to this show. And Zach, I know you can relate to this.
Mm-hmm.
The Wicked Boston Show is telling you to go out right now. Of course, put a lawn chair in your parking spot, but get to your nearest grocery store and buy all the bread and milk and toilet paper they have. This could last forever. And I know when I'm looking at things that I want to buy, if I'm going to have to hunker down for a couple of days and I can't go anywhere, it is certainly those things that hold up forever, like fucking milk and bread and toilet paper. You idiots. I'm going to see a bunch of that today. No goddamn milk at the Stop and Shop.
Yep. Nope. When we froze a couple weeks ago back in January, the meat too, just all gone. It lasted for 3 days.
And I do get it more with the Southerners, the Texans in this case, because
we just don't know how to deal with it. So yeah.
Yes. And there's no telling when you're going to be able to really get on the road again. So if you live in Riesel and let's just say it's a half hour to get to the grocery store on normal conditions. Like, I kind of get that. It's still overboard, but I do kind of get that. Here, man, in the town I live in, where you're not more than a 7-minute drive from any friggin' grocery store, and the roads will be plowed and salted by tomorrow afternoon, you're crazy, man. You're crazy. But I will probably stop at the Packy and get some drinks and get some snacks on the way home from the bar.
Oh, okay.
I'll see if they have any. I used to steal them from in college all the time. I used to just steal the big rolls.
Nice. Like the big, like circle ones?
Yeah, the giant circle ones that would be in the friggin' the bathrooms at the library. I would just steal them. I just put them in my backpack. They were no pun intended. They were shit toilet paper. They were awful,
well, yeah.
but I never paid for toilet paper.
Well, it's because it's thinner than freaking tracing paper.
Yeah,
man.
I was like, but I'm young. I can handle it.
Yeah,
My anus can handle it. So, anyway,
Not a praise
Zach,
I thought they heard today. All right,
Zach, thanks for braving this, man. You're doing a great job, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate those kind words. I appreciate that.
That's going to get him through the weekend right there.
It will.
That and Olympic hockey, baby. 7 a.m. Central Time if they make the gold medal game. I'll get Zach's full review on Monday. But that's going to do it for us on the Wicked Boston show. So, guys, thanks for tuning in. Zach, thanks for keeping us on the air. And we will see you on Monday. I'm probably going to be really disappointed because that's what USA Hockey does to me on the Wicked Boston show with Cam Stuart.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels. Visit OpenGOAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Farmhounds offers natural treats and chews made with quality products that support family farm, regenerative agriculture, and humane farming practices. Give your dog the best with wholesome, organic ingredients that promote health and happiness. Shop now at farmhounds.com.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com. We are Rogue Media Sports.